about the first 48 hours after your child's diagnosis, or maybe the first week home from the NICU, or better yet, the first time a doctor handed you a care plan with 14 different instructions on it and just expected for you to figure it out. What do you do with all the information? Where did it go? Well, if you're like most caregiving parents, it went into a pile, it went on a note on the phone, or on maybe three different apps that don't even talk to each other, or just in your own memory, which was running on no sleep and pure adrenaline and love. It worked until it didn't. Until you were sitting in the emergency room and a nurse asked you, "What medications are your child on?" Well, you knew the names, but you couldn't remember exactly the dosage, and you couldn't remember the last time the prescription was updated on your phone, and then your phone was at 4% battery life, and you didn't even have a charger. That moment, that specific moment, is exactly why today's video and what today's video is all about, because there is a better way, and it starts well before the emergency. So, welcome back, caregiver, and welcome back to Caregiver the Health Boss. I'm Michelle Stevens, and today we are talking about the system every caregiving family needs, and almost nobody builds until after they need it. Here's something that nobody tells you when you step into the caregiving role. The medical system will give you information in every format except an organized one. You get discharge papers at 11 p.m. or maybe even 2 a.m. when your brain is fried. You get portal messages that you have to log into, three separate systems to read. You get specialist reports, they're faxed to the primary care's office that may or may not make it inside the chart before your next appointment. And then you, the parent, the caregiver, the one who's present every day, becomes the unofficial keeper of all of it. Because somebody assigned you that job, but because someone has to do it. And you're the most invested person in the room. That informal record keeping, it starts out just manageable. It starts out as a sticky note here or there, a folder there, a Google document somewhere. And then 6 months or 6 years down the line, you realize that you have 17 folders, no system, and a specialist asking you questions that you know the answer to, but you can't find it in under 4 minutes. This is not a personal failure. This is just what happens when you are handed a full time job with no onboarding, no manual, no organized infrastructure. The system failed you first. But today, we are going to build yours. So, there are four things every caregiver family needs organized: a complete medical snapshot. This is a single document that travels with you everywhere you and your child goes. So it's a 1 page or maybe even 2 pages if you need it. Mine is more like 3 to 4, but consolidated, right? It should include the full diagnosis list with dates, every surgery and when it happened, current medications, the names, the dosage, the frequency, and the prescribing doctor, all known allergies and their side effects, and medication, and as well as environmental on the allergies. So your primary care and every specialist, the name, the office, the phone number, all your insurance information, and any emergency contacts. Why one document? Because when you walk into any medical appointment, a new specialist, emergency room, urgent care, school nurse, and you hand them this one piece of paper, you immediately change how that room sees you. Trust me, I've done it in the ER. When you get there and your kid is screaming and it's a bunch of parents and you done waited, and then now you have to go from one person to the next, just asking you the same question over and over and over again. You hand them that paper, and you are no longer just a parent. You are prepared. You are an informed advocate who came ready. And prepared parents get better outcomes every single time. I know this because I've been on both sides. So number two, you need a medication log. Medication changes. The dosages get adjusted, things get added, things get removed because of interactions, and then you are managing a medically complex child. So you may have a list that changes 3 times a year. Your medication log needs to be current, so update it every time anything changes, specific, the dosage, the time of day, and what it's for, and accessible. So not buried in a drawer or not on your phone where you're the only one who has access to it. So let me give you a tip. A simple tip that makes a big difference is every time you leave the doctor's office with a medication change, update it before you leave the parking lot. Not when you get home, not tomorrow, but in the parking lot. Because tomorrow you'll be managing 17 other things that need to get updated. And this one update is going to get lost with what you have on going on with the current day. Just another tip, like anytime I make that change, because I have it on a document, I always in the bottom left corner, doesn't matter, bottom left, top right, wherever, have a little small section that says updated, and I put the date that I made the last update. So in case I forget, if it says 3 months ago, I know that that change didn't happen. All right, so number three, your appointment history. So most caregiving families are managing multiple specialists across multiple systems. Neurology, pulmonology, GI, orthopedics, therapy, and sometimes all of those and then so much more. And those specialists do not always communicate with each other, which means that you are the communication. You are the thread connecting every piece of your child's care together. So, keeping an appointment history, what was discussed, what was decided, what are the next steps, means that you walk into every room knowing exactly where things stand. It means that when a new doctor joins the team and asks you, what have you tried? You don't have to reconstruct it from your memory because you have it right there. And number four, an emergency plan. So this one is one that most families don't build until they have an emergency without one. So your emergency plan should answer 5 questions. Number one, what are the scenarios that are most likely to happen to your child, and what is the protocol for each? So basically, like with Dallas, allergic reaction, we have an emergency plan for his allergies. Number two, who gets called first, second, and third? And does anyone on the list have the right information to act without you? That's a key one. Number three, what hospitals do you go to and why? Does your child have standing orders there? Does the ER in your area have your child's history on file? So for us, and where I live, no one goes to the local hospital with children. You go to the children's hospital. If it doesn't matter if it's half hour or 2 hours away, you go to the children's hospital. Number four, what does your child's school, daycare, or respite provider need to know and have access to? And then number five, what happens if you are not the one who what happens if you are the one who cannot respond? And that last question is the hardest, and it is also the most important because the plan is not just for your child's emergency, it's for yours too. So, like with Justin, what I did was create a little sheet, and the little sheet is folded up, it's in a folder, it's in his bag with a sticker on it, open in case of emergency. So, I want to reframe how you think about all of this. Building a care system is not just an admission that things are hard, it's a declaration that you are ready. There's a version of caregiving where you are constantly in reaction mode, responding to whatever comes at you, running on memory and adrenaline, and never quite feeling like you have a handle on it. And there's a version, wow, you walk into every appointment prepared when an emergency doesn't seem like you're scrambling, when you are the most disorganized person in the room, but you're the most prepared one. That version is available to you. It doesn't require more time, it just requires a system. I built mine out of necessity. I used to use a steno notebook at first, then things seemed more organized. Then something I realized other caregivers need too. Um, so that's why I created the Care for Me planner, and it became what it is. Not a product that I designed from the outside, a system that I built from the inside from over 20 years living in hospital rooms and learning what is needed when you need it and what happens if you don't have it, especially if you're at a specialist appointment and you can't get back into that specialist for at least 90 plus days. You need to have everything to ask the right questions at the right time. So, if you've been caregiving without a system, first of all, I want to let you know you're not behind. You just have been doing the most important part, which is showing up for your kid every single day. But now it's time to add structure that makes showing up more sustainable. Not because you don't already have enough going on, but because you deserve tools that work as hard as you do. The Care for Me Planner is a system that I wish I had at my very appointment. It covers everything that we talked about today: medical history, medication tracker, appointment records, emergency planning, specialist contacts, all organized in one place designed specifically for caregiving families. The link is in the description. If you're not ready for that yet, start with a one piece of paper: your child's name, the diagnosis, medications, allergies, emergency contacts. One page in your bag right now. That is the first step. And the first step is what matters. So drop a comment below. What is the one thing in your child's care that you've been keeping in your head that really needs to be put on a piece of paper? I'll be in the comments. Share this with another caregiving parent who needs a system. I'd like you to subscribe because next week we're going even deeper into building the most important care binder your family has ever had. So I'll see you in the next one. Until next time, caregivers.